There's a brand new study that just came out. It shows that 66% of people in this survey state that local communities and localism has become the most important thing in their life. You see, I've been making this thesis 4 or 5 years ago, way before COVID, that city living for young families, I'm not talking about bachelor life, I'm talking about young new families, is detrimental for their success. Now, why do people congregate to big cities? They congregate for one specific reason. If you're a young family, for economic opportunity. That's the only reason they congregate. They're not really going out to clubs when they have babies at home. They're not really partying. All their attention is my job is here in this geographical area so I can provide for my family. Work is becoming the norm. It never made sense to me why you need to travel to work. Specifically, it's for data crunching. People are on the computer 99% of the time anyways. Yes, I get it. There's that cultural element to it. There's that magic that happens in the office. And people forget that, oh, look at that. Got a little hair here. People forget remote work isn't you never ever see your colleagues. Remote work is you just spend more time at home than you do at the office. There's many ways you can combine both, where 4 days of the week is at home, 1 day of the week is at the office for collaboration, for socialization. And so the silver lining with this COVID thing is people are realizing, wait a second, I don't have to live in the city. I can move out for 2/3 of my costs, or even one quarter of my cost. I can have a better quality of living, and above all, I can have deep-rooted connection with my community. This is what cities don't offer. People live in condos, 500, 600, 1,000 people in a condo. You don't know your neighbor. Your neighbor can be a fucking sociopath. Who knows? When I lived in my condo 5 years ago, 6 years ago, I didn't know my neighbors. No fucking idea. We had different schedules. We never saw each other ever. When I lived at the condo, that was my most miserable fucking time I've ever had in my life, living at that fucking condo. Condo living, at least for me, was detrimental to my psyche. Detrimental. I hate it. I fucking hate it. I don't know how people live in condos. I really do not understand how people live in condos. I can't fucking stand it. Never will ever in my life move back to a condo. Anyways, that's a whole different story. But city life has eroded that community living. You don't know your neighbors. You don't have support. There's no that je ne sais quoi, as the French say, that brings people together. But now COVID has forced people for localism. See, I'm a big localist. I'm a big believer, local first, everything else second. Local is your extended family. It's really good to know what your neighbors, and because let me kind of break into the fundamental reasons of why localism and community matters most, because it goes back into tribalism. See, there's a saying, it takes a village to raise a child. It's true. It's really, really true. And if you look at how tribal societies are structured, and you look at Dunbar's law, let's say 150, give or take, you realize that these systems are created to protect one's own sustenance, both sustenance for resources and sustenance for resources is an easy one to look at. Is hey, I got a roof over my head, I got food on the table. But the second form of sustenance, which is kind of hard to quantify, is a sustenance of spirituality and a sustenance of community. That feeling that you get by breaking bread with people that you love, that feeling that you get by helping your neighbor. That's hard to quantify. And so basically, if we look at tribalism, the community aspect of tribalism offers all the above. And so this is why we're seeing an exodus now from cities where people are like, I'm fucking fed up with this. I'm going to go buy a house for $200,000-$300,000 somewhere else. I'm going to get to know my neighbors so basically people are fed up. They're leaving the city. And why not? Go buy a house somewhere for $200,000-$300,000 as opposed to $1 million. Get to know your neighbors and start creating more sustainable life. See, that's another thing with this survey. They talk about sustainability and quality of life as opposed to just doing more, less is more. Before COVID, the standard was wake up 7 a.m., go traffic for an hour and a half, be at the office, probably have 2 hours of productive work. Once again, go back 1.5 hours of traffic. Actually, in Toronto, McLean's brought a study 3 years ago, the average Torontonian, and this probably applies to New York as well, this probably applies to San Francisco, all the major hubs, the average Torontonian per year spends about 21 days stuck in their car in traffic. That's almost a month of your life gone. Boom, boom, boom. Wow. Fuck, man. That's fucking crazy. Losing a month of your life stuck in traffic. Yes, you can make it work. You can have Audible and all that shit, but still the stress alone of being in traffic is not worth it. So people are fed up. They're having enough. And I think it's time for everybody to kind of really look at what they want in life. Is life about working 80 hours a week? Is life about literally going to debt $800,000 for a shitbox house and not having the ability to ever get out of debt? Is that really life? Is life always about being stressed over money because you want to live above your means? Or is life more about the simple things? See, another thing that people don't realize, if you look at our hunters and gatherers, and we can look at modern day hunters and gatherers. There's some still in the Amazon jungle. There's some in Papua New Guinea. They actually have way more fucking leisure time than we do. We've been scammed. I'm be honest with you. We've been scammed. We don't have fucking leisure time. Through, well, I got to go to work. I got to do this. I got to pay the bills. I got to look after the kids. There's no social support. There's no extended family. There's no travel support. Everything's on you. You got to juggle the whole fucking universe. That's not how living is attended for human beings. Living is attended, and this is why I always say the Amish have a lot of things right. They have some things wrong when it comes to technology and kind of being a closed group of people. But what they do have right, and I give all the power to them, is that community structure, the fact of breaking bread together, the fact that you have your brothers and sisters to help you out when you need help. That aspect is fundamental human aspect, regardless of who you are, where you're from, what religion you are, what creed you are. That is the very nature of human beings. We are tribal hunters and gatherers, and we depend on each other for survival, both survival of physical necessities and survival of spiritual and emotional necessities. So I just wanted to quickly update you, dude. This is great news. This is great news. Great news. People are waking up finally, realizing community first, local first, create better quality of living as opposed to chaotic living. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out. Oh yeah, by the way, subscribe, hit the like button, and leave a comment below this video. Let me know, do you agree with this? What's your thoughts on localism and building community? And let's start a dialogue. Peace.